Thank you for being here in the webinar today. We're talking about, obviously, as it says here, text message marketing. And we're talking about different tips and tricks that we have that we would leverage that have worked well in terms of different prompts that you're able to send to customers, kind of the recurring automation. So just across the board, we wanted to go over what some of those things should be. So if you're ready to get started, if you can throw one in the chat, that'd be great. And then we'll get rolling. So house rules for those that maybe haven't watched one of these before, at least it's for people that are live, turn off your microphone. Honestly, those shouldn't matter because I have microphone turned off across the board. But leverage the comments in the chat and Q&A section. So that way we can definitely respond to you as you have your questions here live. And if you are watching the replay, please feel free to leverage the comments down below. Throw questions that you have in there and also click the like button. So in terms of a summary of what we'll be talking about today in terms of implementing text message marketing. So using automated messaging systems, what that should look like, conversion rates in terms of texting, examples of clear call to actions, the timing and frequency. I know that's a common question in terms of how often should I be sending text messages, the personalization behind that, way to even filter the audience, analyze and adjusting from there. So we got kind of hitting different aspects of text message marketing. But by a show of comments, how many of you are leveraging text message marketing? You can throw a yes in the chat if you are, or no in the chat if you are not. That would be great. So if you get the yes or no if you are even leveraging text message marketing. All right, sweet. We got a few guesses. A couple people saying no. So great. All right. Well, we'll get this part. We'll keep moving along here to hopefully if you are leveraging it, this will at least be kind of a supplement add-on onto that. If this is kind of your first experience with it, perfect. Then we'll kind of start at the very beginning and then kind of roll through why it is important. All right. And so as we do here at Lyft, we kind of have our digital dominance method, the different aspects of online marketing that we sort of also base our different webinars on. So as you can see here today, we'll be talking about text message marketing, which is one facet of the different aspects of digital marketing that you want to hit on. So in terms of text message marketing campaigns, so here you can see statistics have shown that 98% of all text messages are opened, which is a much better read rate than email. So I know probably 5-10 years ago, emails were kind of the common theme. Also, obviously, people still leverage email marketing in this current day, but a lot of it goes unread. A lot of it gets marked as spam. A lot of them unsubscribe because they just don't want people don't leverage emails that way. But when you see unread text messages, you almost can't help but open it. So it's a very powerful tool to be able to leverage if used the right way. And then 95% of text messages are also open and responded to within 3 minutes of being delivered. So again, you get a very high interactive rate in terms of leveraging text messages. It's just kind of the go-to form of texting that most people use nowadays, regardless of age. I guess the younger you go, the more frequently they probably leverage text message, but still, I mean, in this day and age, everyone has a smartphone, and they know how to leverage it in some shape or form, right? And consumers are 5 times more likely to send and receive text messages than phone calls, which is a crazy high number. So if you are offering text messaging, like at least marketing, reaching out to clients, offer it as a two-way ability. Make sure you're letting clients know that they can reach out to your team via text messages at any time. And that way you can create that form of communication that is convenient for them. And in this day and age, we also want to work off of convenience for a consumer. You want to value their time. A lot of people are not comfortable with speaking on the phone. So you want to make sure that you have that ability to text and that they're aware that they can text you. Okay. And 40 to 50% of inbound leads leave unconverted in terms of regardless if it comes in form of a call or a text message, and 75% of website forms fail to convert. Sorry, typos here. But we want to make sure that you have some follow-up mechanisms via text message in terms of these unconverted leads immediately. Right. And so on top of that, are you leveraging your CRM to get Google reviews? And so hopefully it's one of the most powerful tools to be able to leverage to get more and more Google reviews. And in terms of Google reviews, it's also very powerful to be able to leverage in terms of SEO as well. So Google reviews are indexed within Google. And so the more Google reviews that you're getting, the more data points there are. And so that's the more that you also want to take care of and respond to your reviews, which we can talk about here in a little bit as we go along. But just quickly, are you leveraging your CRM to get Google reviews? I hope everyone answers yes here. If you put yes for text message marketing, I really hope you're not putting no here. So throw in the chat if at least yes, you are using your text message marketing, your CRM to get Google reviews. Perfect. We have a bunch of yeses of all the people that said yes. All right, we have a few quite a bit of yeses coming through. So perfect. That's what I hope and expect. But there's different automation workflows that you can work through to get these the right way, which again we'll talk about here in a little bit. So the problem when you don't have text message marketing is that you tend to struggle with getting more 5-star reviews. Kind of getting that organically or asking the people to do it only can sometimes go so far. If you have a really good process in the store to get the review, great. But at the same time, you also do not want to get a bunch of reviews while people are in the store. Because again, Google can see where they're leaving a review from, which is a little scary, but granted, that's just what it is. They can see where the review is coming from, and all your reviews are coming from sitting inside the shop. You're already ranking well from where you're located if someone searches there. So you want to get these little data indicators from different places around town, ideally when they're sitting at home. That's when you want to get a review. So that's where it's best to be able to leverage it that way. A question that came through: how many times should I ask for a Google review via text? Great question. So typically the process that at least I'll just share from experience in terms of the workflow that we leverage. So we usually wait a couple of business days after someone comes in. Now there's different takes on this. Some people send it immediately after, and in our closes within maybe the first 30 minutes, trying to get that a quick interaction. Others again wait a little bit longer. We've seen that a couple of business day mark to be great because now the customer has had time to use the car, see that it's working properly, and then are a lot more likely to leave a positive review. When it's too quick, a lot of times they don't know yet. They don't know if everything that got repaired got taken care of. And so that's where you want to definitely leverage that portion. Ideally, you want to have a way to mark if someone has left a Google review or not, at least in recent times. But also, if they haven't left a Google review in say a year, I mean, it's totally fine to ask them again, and then all it'll do is update their review and put it more recently within the system of your Google Business Profile. So it never hurts to ask again. But yeah, you don't want to be overly repetitive with it. So in terms of the time limit, there isn't really a set amount of times. Just don't be too annoying with too many text messages in a sense. So hopefully that answers that question. But yes, you want to also, in terms of other problems, you want to send a text after their cars have picked up and ask about their experience, send them a link to leave a review. So yeah, obviously there's going to be different ways to solve the problem here with text messages. And people are more likely to choose the shop with better Google reviews. I think in any shape or form in this day and age, people love reading reviews. So I'm sure all of you use Amazon. You probably search things on Amazon, you look at the reviews, you read some of the reviews before you buy it. At least I know I do that. I know a lot of people leverage those reviews just to gauge in terms of how well a product is. Same sort of thing within Google and researching a business, a restaurant, everything across the board. People love to see that social proof. And so you want to make sure that you're getting enough of these reviews that are creating more and more social proof and trust within Google. All right. And the why. So leads that are not followed. Let's see here. Oops. So leads that are not followed up within 15 minutes go cold. And so within text messaging, you can do a really cool thing. When it recognizes a missed call, you can text them immediately to at least open that conversation. That'd be something I would highly, highly recommend having set up within your system, is creating some sort of text follow-up immediately if your team happens to miss the call. Again, hopefully it's few and far between, but they happen sometimes. Everyone gets busy, or maybe they're already on a different line and you just didn't have enough lines open to allow that call to go through to a different person. Like that way, at least though, you created a text message prompt so they don't just like switch and call the next person on the line of Google as they went through. Because when people tend to need an auto repair shop, they need it now, and really in everything they need. People are getting less and less patient as time goes along. So you want to make sure that you are doing everything you can to follow up with any given lead that pops through. Okay. And the average customer wants to be followed up within 5 to 7 times before booking. Again, this is going to vary by industry. This is just on average in general in terms of what we've seen typically within auto repair. You want to make sure you're consistently following up and creating a very convenient process for them to book said appointment, whether that be right over the phone for you, whether that be online. Again, you want to make sure that you're taking care of those things very seamlessly. And then when they do book an appointment, you want to make sure that boom, an appointment confirmation goes out. You have appointment reminders set up, everything across the board that are all very convenient to do through texting. And as we already dabbled on, text messages, like majority of customers prefer to interact via text message, just typing on their phone versus phone call or email. Not many will do that. Yes, obviously you will get people to call you on the phone, and it is a very good way to be able to close the lead. But text messages is another way. Again, for convenience purposes, you want to at least offer it to the consumer because that's how they prefer. Do you suggest cutting email marketing and switching to text message only? Great question. I do not suggest just cut. If you are leveraging email marketing and it's a very low cost, then it doesn't hurt to have another medium to send to a customer in terms of email. Granted, if you're getting too many negative feedback in terms of like, hey, you're sending me way too many things, then maybe you want to tone it down a little bit. But if you're in a position where you have to choose between affording one or the other, then definitely I would choose text messages. Because again, as we've seen, that we've talked about, there's a much higher likelihood of a read, of an interaction. And again, when that takes place, much higher likelihood of someone actually coming into the store. So those are going to be the biggest things there. And so the solution in terms of following up, I guess I sort of just already answered that. You want to make sure that you create some sort of automation that's built in to follow up with anyone. If you still have web forms, you want to make sure there's a follow-up sequence within the first couple minutes of a submission, whether that be phone call, email, text messages, all of the above. You want to make sure you're hitting those points of contact immediately. So then that way they are aware. Also, wouldn't hurt if you have a web form and they submit it and you have text messaging available. You let them immediately get a prompt that shows, thank you for submitting a web form. We also are able to do texting if you want to book an appointment now. Like something like that, just to create that. Again, you don't want people to like potentially reach out to somebody else and see who's going to reach back out to me first. You want to create a system that automatically does that. And so that allows follow-ups to be, again, seamless, and those touch points not have to be dependent upon a person sitting in the store or anything like that. So those are going to be big things to leverage within your text messages. So we have an example in terms of just like, again, how text messages can affect conversion rate alone in terms of leads coming through and how that follow-up sequence can be super beneficial, just so that you can see in terms of dollar amounts. So say, for example, we have 100 leads. Conversion rate is only at 30% because there's no text message follow-up. Your team happens to maybe miss some calls. There's no follow-up going anywhere across the board. So, I mean, you end up with 30 cars, 100 leads, obviously, 30 cars times an ARO of 650. You're looking at 19.5 a month in terms of revenue. But say, boom, simply you just added in automated follow-up. Now conversion rate jumps up from 30% to 70% because now you created all this automation. You have this easy, seamless feedback conversation via text. Goes from 30 to 70%. All we're touching is the conversion rate. Leads stay the same. So this number of booked cars jump up by 40. And now that increases your revenue just here alone to 45.5, increasing it by about $26,000 a month. Spend that over a year. That's a good amount of dollars that can come in as just by having a seamless text message follow-up sequence with each and every lead, each and every customer that's coming in and out. And again, because this is not necessarily just with like new customers, this is with existing customers too, because again, they want that seamless effort that you're able to create just by leveraging text messages the right way. Okay. Any questions there so far in terms of these numbers? Hopefully that makes sense. So you can see 19.5 to 45.5, $26,000 a month. Equate that over a year, that's a little over $300,000 that you'd be looking at in terms of extra revenue just by having an automated follow-up sequence with all your customers. Okay. So again, big thing, leveraging automation. I mean, there's a lot of different things you can leverage within automation, within AI, within workflows that can automatically kick in these processes for you. So you do not need to remember to do it. You already have enough things to remember. So why not have a system that already does it for you? So I want to make sure it's within the CRM. You want to make sure that you have the right sequences there, and that they're firing properly. And you don't. Hopefully, you're not having your service advisor constantly sit there on the screen, having to constantly text people back. I mean, yes, at least you have texting. Now that is chewing up a lot of their time. So when you can automate, we do things a little bit differently where we have actual people that are actually also on top of the automation responding to take away and limit some of that time. But again, you want to make sure that you're doing everything you can to create that proper follow-up sequence for each and every customer that's reaching out. Okay, and we talked about, this is our digital downloads method, which we already chatted on. And so now we want to go over a few prompts in terms of messages that you can send today, just exact verbiage, templates, and just give you ideas of like, okay, what should be said to a customer over text that at least makes it sound a little bit like us. And every single shop is going to be different. They're going to have different styles, different brands, but it's good to at least start with something and then iterate and work from there. So for appointment reminders, it probably would look something like this. So it's like, hi, customer name. You always want to leverage their name to kind of create that personal connection. People love names. They want the appropriate name that's there. So obviously, whatever name you're putting in your shop management software, that's the name that will typically pull out into this message. But so whatever they're preferring, I'll make sure you have it listed there correctly as their first name. And then you would have just a friendly reminder, let's get this out of the way, that your appointment for so-and-so service is scheduled for this date at this time. See you soon at this given shop. Just so that way, you want to always include your shop name as often as possible so people know exactly who's reaching out to them, what they need to come in for. At times I've seen reminders just go out just saying, hey, your appointment's confirmed, but they forgot to mention like what it's confirmed, who's confirmed with. Not every time will people will see it in the moment and then they'll look back and say like, who sent me this text? I don't remember what it was for. And so you want to make sure it's clearly labeled exactly who the shops are. And then in terms of frequency of appointment reminders, typical rule of thumb for me is you want to send a confirmation, you want to send a reminder one day before, and then usually an hour before. Like those would be the kind of the go-to sequence. Obviously, you can mix and match with that, but that's typically you want to have at least one pretty close to the appointment time to be a fresh reminder for them. Like, oh yes, I need to make sure that I go do that because I had an appointment with them. I mean, a lot of other industries do this as well. Think about your dentists. You most likely get appointment reminders constantly from them. And again, this is no different. You want to make sure that they attend their appointment, they bring the car in, and so set up that frequency. But don't go overboard. You don't need to send it every single day before their appointment kind of deal. You want to just make sure that you're just doing friendly reminders here and there. All right. And service follow-ups, they'll look something like this. So said, hey, hi customer name. We hope you're enjoying the performance of your vehicle after your recent service. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to reach out. Your satisfaction is our priority. So again, simple, leaves the door open for them to respond. If you're not trying to be proactive in terms of how to gauge their satisfaction, you can do a number rating, anything along the line, just to again create that dialogue with them and really to address both really happy customers along with anyone that in particular that may be upset. So you can figure out maybe what in the process went wrong, why did they not enjoy their experience, what can you do better to improve their experience going forward. And so it's really important to have some sort of follow-up. Typically, I'd recommend the follow-up catered in a direction to get Google reviews, obviously, but you want to make sure that you are at least following up with some kind to make sure that they feel heard and they feel like you definitely care about making sure that everything is good on their end. Okay, so those will be again a general prompt for a service follow-up. So we keep going here. So special offers and discounts. So another thing that you can leverage in terms of frequency, I would say I'll limit to just one per month if you're doing some sort of special offer or discount, and then make it valid for a duration of time. You do not want to do multiple specials and things throughout a month. It just makes it look like your shop is cheap. And so you want to limit and be creative with some of your specials tied into different things within the month. If you're definitely going for a more relaxed culture vibe within the shop, you're known as being funny, then yeah, then leverage something funny in here within the text just to make it personal. But this is again an example. Hey, customer name. As a valued customer of so and so, we'd like to offer you 10% off your next service, or you can be 10% off of labor. You can go as specific as you want, and then simply mention this text when booking your appointment, valid until so and so date. So you also want to create some sort of expiration date to create some sort of urgency behind booking and leveraging the special. Because if not, if you just create an open-ended amount, you never know when, hey, in 3 months down the road, they happen to remember that text and like, oh, I'm going to use it again. Because it was there. Granted, yes, it reminded them, but you want to create some urgency behind them putting it into that month because maybe right now is when you're slow, so that's why you put up the special. But in the summer, you're not going to be that slow. And so you're not really leveraging as many discounts and specials. Then you obviously want to create expiration so people aren't waiting to leverage that for a later date. Okay. Service reminders, that's another huge thing. So obviously, no one's going to have a perfect close ratio. So there'll be some declined services that take place. You want to make sure that you are doing regular reminders around those declined services, along with like routine maintenance things, just again as a friendly reminder of, hey, you want to make sure that you come in. So one thing that we've seen work really well within like declined service reminders is offering some sort of incentivization for them to come back in and book those. So offering a discount definitely helps, and like creating immediate urgency. Like say, hey, this is valid for the next 3 days if you book an appointment. Kind of like again, they already didn't do it the first time, so winning that declined service customers already going to be very, very difficult. There's a reason why they didn't do that in the first place. But if you create some urgency, you create a strong special, it could very well get them back in the door. And then in terms of time frame of following up, highly recommend no sooner than 1 month of reminding them about declined service reminders. Sooner than that is just too soon. Why would their circumstance have changed within a couple of weeks to then suddenly be able to afford, because they couldn't afford it, or they didn't want to spend that money right then and there? Why would only a week, 2 week time frame have changed that scenario for themselves? So that's why at least wait 30, 45 days has been a good allotment of time to then wait to then send that back over to them. Like, hey, we want to make sure that you're taking care of everything's good. We noticed that these things were missing last time. Okay. Customer satisfaction surveys. Surveys could be a really powerful way, again, to just leverage how the shop is doing. And so you can send a link with a survey, or you can just give them, again, a general prompt of rating the service, or if you're trying to test something in particular, like how did you like our process of getting your key, or maybe if you're implementing a new process of like key drop off, maybe you can ask them, hey, we noticed you leveraged our key drop off process. How did you enjoy it? How can we improve it? Things like that. That way, again, you're getting the customer feedback. So are the people you're supporting. You want to make sure you hear those things in order to properly ensure that you're supporting them in the right way. So again, a great way to leverage and understand your customer deeper and deeper as you go along. I'm gonna stop there for now. I know we've gone over quite a bit of prompts so far. Any questions thus far in terms of any of the different prompts and ways that you can leverage text messaging? So if not, I'll keep on moving. Perfect. Sorry, we have a question pop through. What are the best practices for managing opt-outs and customer satisfaction? Should this also remove them from appointment reminders? Okay, great question. So opt-outs, you also, if you're doing a marketing promo of some kind, you want to make sure you have an ability for them to unsubscribe to you. You have to. Legally, you have to do that. You can't just not offer them to be able to unsubscribe from your text messaging. Typically that's in regards to marketing though. So if it's an appointment reminder, those are still totally fine to be able to send out unless they say otherwise in terms of not wanting to receive any of your text messages. That will be a different story. But usually when you're booking the appointment, there will be a checkbox that then says, are you okay if we send you appointment reminders? They most likely will click on that, and then the appointment reminders will thus go out. But anything else, usually every CRM, if they text back stop, it should automatically unsubscribe them from any marketing promos, and no more text should be going out to them in that way, because you definitely don't want to get in trouble of still sending out text messages to people that have unsubscribed. Okay. And then, yeah, in terms of best practice of determining customer satisfaction, we do it simple, where we have the right the experience with a number value that then dictates the next level of what should happen. But you can go about at least do it, like gauge how happy someone is with the service. Um, so yeah, hopefully that answered the question. Thank you. So let's keep going. So seasonal maintenance tips. This is again, it doesn't have to always be a promotion or anything like that that you send out, but at least you want to create that touch point. Here's a good example. Hi, customer. In summer approaches, it's important to prepare your vehicle for warmer weather. Remember to check your tire pressure, top up fluid, and consider scheduling a summer service at so and so, whatever your shop is. So again, and not doing anything special, not trying to rush them in there with any sort of discount. You're just touching base. You know that you're gonna be plenty busy, but you want to make sure that they're remembering your shop name and not forgetting you guys. Make sure that what you're texting is relevant to your given area. So if you're having someone manage all the CRM for you, they might be managing a bunch of different places. The weather is not going to be the same in every given place. So you want to make sure that you're understanding what is going out there, that it makes sense for your given area. Just do a quick double check on those things. Because again, one area might snow and one area might never ever snow. And it's a tropical warm weather place. So again, you want to make sure that the right things are going out at the right times. Okay. Vehicle recall notifications. Your vehicle may be subject to a safety recall. This again will be typically you'll see things pop up from your manufacturer side of things. Only if it's very, very prevalent will I then consider sending out something like this. But again, it doesn't hurt to give your customers some good information about what's going on. Holiday greetings and offers. That's another good one in terms of just letting people know, hey, we celebrate holidays too, and as a give back to the community, here's a percentage off, or here's a special discount during the given holiday season. So definitely works very, very well. People love community engagement, and so I think by doing other things also work. If you're doing any sort of holiday thing, maybe partner with another local business and do something together. That way you're hitting more than one customer database. Could be a very powerful thing to leverage, especially if you continue to do these different things. And then last prompt was, hey, I mean, if you're taking people's birthdays or anything like that, or maybe their anniversary with you, maybe you celebrate. Hey, it's been 1 year since you've been coming to so and so shop, or 5 years, or whatever you want to celebrate. It could be a very good thing to create that personalization with each and every customer that you have and create uniqueness that probably no other shop is bothering to do. I mean, something simple like wishing them a happy birthday, and here's a treat on us kind of deal is a great thing that goes a long way. They remember you, and again, it's the easiest thing is to bring back a current customer, and so you want to make sure that you are increasing that lifetime value with each and every time that you're connecting with your customers, because again, that much easier in turn versus a new customer acquisition. But that process that then you set them through for any new customer, you want to make sure it's seamless. You're getting the right touch points, and they feel special at the end of the day. Okay. So perfect. And then I know we touched on a lot of different prompts. Any more questions? Any more thoughts on different prompts that maybe we didn't describe or talk about here that someone maybe wanted to chat about? I know we went over quite a bit of them, so no worries if we exhausted a lot of different prompts. If you have more ideas, I mean, throw them down in the comments below if you're watching in the replay in terms of different prompts and texts that you've seen work very, very well and effectively for yourself. One thing we didn't touch on are kind of the slow day blast. Again, similar thing to leverage as your monthly sort of promo. If you're already doing monthly promo, I'd be very careful in terms of doing the slow day blast and what that sort of should look like. Okay, just again, as we're going to see here, timing and frequency is key. You do not want to be annoying with your text messages, both on the regulation side of things, but also on your customer experience side of things. That you don't want them to feel like, oh my goodness, why did I sign up with these people? All they do is text me all day long. So again, be careful with timing and frequency. So understand your audience is going to be huge in terms of how they prefer, what their behaviors are. Consider factors such as their time zone, their daily schedules. Don't send things out in the middle of the night or at the crack of dawn, early in the morning. You don't. You want to make sure that you're engaging them at the right time, maybe right in the morning, right when they get to work, or maybe right before they get to work. It is when you'd want to text them, like, remind them, like, oh yeah, that's when they'd want to drop the car off, or maybe it's at the end, towards the latter end of the day, right before work ends, so they can quickly bring the car over. You can take care of them, have them on their way. Granted, maybe not in the same day, but that's sort of just think about the timing of when customers are most frequent, and the timing of when you should send these text messages out. Okay. And then segment your audience. So segmenting your audience based on relevant criteria such as demographics, purchase history, engagement level, close ratio, things like that. I've seen work very, very well in terms of just filtering out when someone comes. Also, do not text people that maybe haven't that have been in the shop within the last 3 months or last 6 months. 6 months is a little bit far. So maybe within the last 3 months, there's no need to text them so soon again if needed, especially with a promo or special that just came in. You don't need to inundate them with too many things because they already got the follow-up sequence right after the RO closed. So being able to filter by those things could create a very useful mechanism for yourself to reach out to the right people. Filtering, maybe you're like, you know what, we just got a brand new Eurotech and we need more of those in there. You can filter by in your database based on the vehicles that people have, based on the time frame in which they have come in, and also based on, hey, they have a close ratio of at least 50% or something like that. You know they're going to spend dollars. Then those are the people you want to send a text out to, create some sort of incentive, have them come in. But by having the right data to segment that could be a very powerful ability to be able to do. Okay. Automation and personalization. So tools can streamline your text message marketing efforts and allow for personalized messaging at scale. So within automation, yeah, you just want to make sure what is being sent out is personalized to your business. Make sure you understand what sort of templates and texts are being used to go out to customers, and that it sounds like you at the end of the day. So obviously AI is a powerful tool, but you don't want to sound like a robot because no one wants to communicate with a robot. So just make sure that you're leveraging those things in the right way to make it feel much more personal to the customer. That will help your dollars go a lot further as well. So again, like we talked about, ways to segment your audience. So there's going to be there's a bunch of different ways. Obviously, you need to have the data to be able to do this. Most CRMs should be able to do this. On Sometimes you can do it yourself. At other times, as for example, within what we do, we do this for you. So you just say, hey, this is my idea of what I'm wanting to send out, and then we take care of doing all the filtering and things for you. So that way you don't have to create user error. You don't need to also be an admin of another system. You can just share an idea, make sure the execution gets done by a company that's doing it for you. But in terms of different ways that you can segment, you can have vehicle type as a common way, service history. So in terms of the length of time, maybe how many visits they visited. If you want, no, I want them to have at least visited at least 3 times or something like that. Like, again, so there's some recurring element. You want to be able to filter by that. Customer life cycle, that's going to be, again, new customers might receive the welcome messages while longer term customers receive loyalty rewards, or different sort of incentives. There are different messages going to different people. Location, maybe, yeah, given on certain areas of town, you notice that, yeah, this zip code brings us big dollars, and this is where we want to leverage this certain thing based on what's going on in that community right now. So another powerful way to be able to leverage that, and customer behavior. So in terms of who is actually interacting with text messages, you can probably filter by, okay, they've responded to a text messages within the last so and so time frame. So you know that they're highly likely, like, if a text message goes out to them, they're more than likely to receive it, respond, interact, and then hopefully let's bring the car in. So definitely different ways to segment that have been very powerful. There's preferences, appointment frequency. Again, these are all great ideas in terms of how can I leverage my customers to then create a more personal approach to reach out to them. Because again, if you do the same sort of thing to the same sort of people, and you're like, you know what, text messages are not working. Like, why is no one coming in for it? Take a different approach. See if you can come with something more creative, narrow the amount of people that maybe are getting, you're not setting out to thousands and thousands. Maybe you're like, you know what, I want to create a solid bubble of 200 people this time to send this blast to see if how efficiently this works. And that way you can leverage, say like, yeah, you know what, that returned way more people to actually come in and spend dollars than when I sent this huge blast out that dripped throughout the month. So again, very good ways to leverage different ideas here. Okay. Any questions there in terms of segmenting audiences, how that sort of works? Usually it just ultimately comes down to data, the data in which you have, and data is only as good as it is in the system. So obviously you want to be able to trust the data that you're punching in there. But once you have it there, you can do a lot of different things to leverage and then kind of narrow down who is even your ideal customer and filtering like, yep, I know ideal customer has been here this long and they are from this area and bringing this type of car, so on and so forth. Okay. So 5 KPIs to monitor as we continue along here. Again, throw it in the chat, throw it in the Q&A as you have questions. I appreciate you guys being here live, and those that are watching the replay. Again, throw them in there. I'll make sure I take a peek and respond as those pop through. All right. So a question that came through: how can SMS marketing be effectively used in cross-promotional strategies with other marketing channels? Should I post the same promos as I text, or keep some promos texting only? Oh, that's a really good point. I think it honestly is good for A/B testing, to seeing if, yep, you know what, if I post it in multiple places, will that work better than if I just make it unique to texting? In my opinion, though, you should be posting the same special consistently across the different platforms. That way you do not have this mix and match version of different specials going around in different places. And then someone's coming in saying, hey, I saw this so-and-so special, and your service advisors are just getting confused in terms of like, I thought it was this special. But no, you have one here, one there, one every, like, again, you want that consistency. So that's where I would suggest that if you're doing one promo in one specific place, leverage it in the other mediums as well, because then you just create a higher likelihood of said campaign working. So very good question though, in terms of how to properly leverage kind of a promo that you're doing. But yeah, let's talk about some 5 key KPIs in terms of monitoring how it's working. So number 1 is going to be open rate. That's going to be in terms of how many messages are being opened and read on the phone. So you can measure that and seeing how effectively it's working. Number 2 is click-through rates. So for example, if you have a link on there to maybe schedule an appointment, they tap on the link, they can schedule an appointment, or they tap on the link, they leave a review. Like you want to make sure you're gauging the click-through rate of how often that given message is working and leading to them actually clicking on the link. And the conversion rate would be them actually performing said action. So outside of the link, you wanted them to lead to an appointment, they actually booked an appointment. So that would be a proper conversion rate of what is working there. And then list growth rate, the rate at which your subscriber list is growing for text messages, just so that way you're knowing how many more and more people that you're adding. More than likely, it's just going to strictly be coming from your closed customers, because there's not many times that people will be signing up for your texting list outside of being a customer to begin with. And so that will help you understand in terms of how many customers you're actually getting. And then opt-out rates, you want to understand how many people are unsubscribing and opting out of the given messages. So that will be beneficial to understand. If you're seeing high opt-out rates, more than likely the frequency in which you're sending out messages is too high. That's what's causing them to be annoyed and unsubscribe. It's not that your information is not valuable. You're just sending things to them too often, or maybe the area in general is sending things too often. And so just be wary and be aware of what is going in and out. Do not be overbearing on your customers in the area. Okay. So as a general recap of what we spoke on today, obviously text messaging is important. You want to make sure you're leveraging it in some kind. You want to have a CRM that is working for you, that you're seeing is increasing the lifetime value of each and every customer. If you're seeing each and every month your return customer ratio is just dwindling, it's going lower and lower, and new customer to existing customer ratio is 50-50, I would say that's much too high. You shouldn't be getting that many new customers as a holistic ratio, existing should be probably around 70. The 70-30 mark is a pretty ideal ratio to be around. But you want to make sure you're understanding why are returning customers not coming back. More than likely, it'd be due to the fact that you don't have a touch point with them that they're finding as very beneficial, or they're just forgetting about you. Your service was forgettable. You don't want to create that process, but make sure you're understanding that ratio in terms of new to existing customers there. Implementing compelling calls to actions, leveraging follow-ups of some kind with an automation, especially if you're missed a call or they filled in a form, like make sure you're following up with them immediately, because you will lose that lead 100% if you do not have any sort of follow-up. So you want to make sure that you're creating that process for yourself. And then also thinking about how do we properly filter our data and audience to cater more specific personalized messages. That again, you can be very creative with different data points in terms of thinking about who your ideal customer is, or who the customer should be to receive this said promo. Lots of different ways you can filter based on the data, but so start thinking about how you can create that uniqueness there. Okay, so any other questions from everyone in terms of text message marketing? I appreciate you all for being here. For those that are still here and are curious, this is our free strategy session. So you can book on the QR code here, book a meeting with us, and we'll analyze kind of your online presence. We'll do kind of a GeoGrid ranking as well in terms of understanding how you're ranking locally and comparing it to maybe some of your competitors, how they're performing, how you can be ranking and performing better. So you can book a strategy session here, go to our website to contact us. That's where it'll lead, or you can give us a call, 877-733-3446, or the info email there. We also have a free marketing checklist. So if you don't even want to book a meeting, but you're like, you know what, I would love to understand what I need to make sure I at least have at a bare minimum for my online presence, jump in there, check that out, book, just make sure that you're doing a double check that you have everything there. You can go to go.liftautoremarketing.com/marketing checklist, and it should take you right there. Okay. Facebook group. So we have a Facebook group called Auto Repair Shop Owners Mastermind. A little over 1,500 auto repair shop owners in there, where we share tips and tricks with each other in terms of what's working, what's not. Give you the latest and greatest updates in terms of the marketing world, of what Google is doing with its algorithm, things like that. But already a beneficial tool to be able to leverage if you're not already in there. And also we have a book. So Drive More Business. You can find it on Amazon, Kindle. If you type in this bit.ly code, but also if you just go to Amazon, type in Drive More Business, should be the top book that's there. It's a step-by-step guide to internet marketing for your shop, and really walks you through almost click by click at times of where to go for certain things, how to set it up. Okay, so awesome. That is everything. So I appreciate you all for being here. Again, I'm Kelsey Outram, CEO of Lift Auto Repair Marketing. Hopefully this was of value to you. Again, if you are watching the replay, if you could like or subscribe or comment, that would really help in terms of making sure that this gets as big a reach as possible. But I thank you all for being here. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out directly. But we'll see you guys again next time. Thanks.